Now the last time we visited the McLaren F1 on the website here, it was wintertime, it was at night, it was raining, so we just did some of the technical aspects of the car. In fact, if you go back through the list of cars, you can see the engine compartment and all that kind of stuff. And I promised you at that time, as soon as the weather got better, we'd take it for a ride. Well, that's what we're going to do now. We've got it parked outside here. I think this is one of the best looking cars of all time. You know, unlike a lot of other supercars where they design the car first and they try to fit all the mechanicals inside it, what they did with the F1 here was they designed the chassis and the engine and everything with, and then when they had it all done and had the way they wanted, then kind of fitted the body over all the mechanicals. I mean, this car is 1994, and yet if you made this today, it would look modern. It doesn't look dated. You know, you look at Countach's, you look at some of the big Testarossa Ferraris, they look dated now. They look big, they look wide, they look heavy. This comes from that same era almost, and yet it still looks more fluid and more modern. And brilliant packaging, as I said in the first piece. It's smaller than a Corvette, yet it holds almost as much luggage and carries 3 people. But enough talk, let's go for a ride. You know, driving a McLaren, there's a bit of theater to it. You kind of press the button, the door opens. Then you have to get your large Bataco area over to the center seat. It's always fun to watch women in skirts getting one of these things, but you first should sit down like this. Oh no, first you gotta take the key out of your pocket. If you have your key in when you're sitting in there, then you're screwed. Take the key out, you got your McLaren key right there. Okay, and then you kind of sit on here. Then you gracefully slide over right there. Got your all carbon fiber, chassis, everything. Got your seat belt right here. Put this on. Come on the other side, I'll show you how we started. Put your key in here. Turn it. Much like a P51 Mustang or something, you flip up the switch, hit the red button. 6 speeds, and move that forward for your lockout on reverse. But let's go for a ride. One thing you have to do in a McLaren or an Alfa or any of those cars, get all your fluids warm. Right here, this is your transmission here. That's your transmission temperature. See the red light? You really don't want to give it any throttle or any stick until that light goes off. That means your transmission is warmed up enough. Everything's very direct. There's no power steering, there's no power assist, there's no power brake. Very light car. This thing weighs less than a Miata, yet it has 627 horsepower. You know, the cool thing about driving the McLaren is people that know. The people that don't know just assume, what is that, some kind of kid car, sports car, something like that. So they don't go crazy on you unless they're real enthusiasts. The gauges are all laid out pretty simply. The car does have a CD player in it. We talked about that in the other video. But if you're driving this car, listen to the radio. Get another car. The interesting thing about this car is every single part is made only from the McLaren F1. You know, a lot of times when you get fancy Italian cars or something, you get little Fiat light switches and things just to save money. But everything is purpose-built to be as light as possible and as expensive as possible. If you know something, it's worth it. I mean, would you rather have a beach house in Malibu or this? As you see, you got 2 rear view mirrors here. Don't really need the rear view mirror because the chance of somebody passing you are quite slim. Not have a smile on your face when you drive one of these. You know, automotive technology moves pretty quickly, and even though this car is basically about 16 years old, it still feels completely modern. You know, the gear shift is terrific. Once it warms up, it really does have that rifle bolt kind of feel to it. The car does not have paddle shifters for a reason, because I think what Gordon was trying to do was to convey the intimacy, the maximum amount of interaction that you can have with the automobile. You know, you press on the brake, there's no power assist. you know, the amount of stopping power you could feel coming through your leg by the amount of pressure that you apply. As I said, no anti-lock brakes, no traction control. You lose it, you're screwed. Oh, it's horrible. Just don't lose it. I deliberately instructed the cameraman not to show the speedometer, so this cannot be used against the vehicle. But you get a chance to hear the engine. Fantastic sounding. I'll just give a little throttle here. To a car like this is the sensation of speed is diminished. It's half. You know, 60 feels like 20 or 30. 120 feels like 60. I mean, sometimes you look down and you're going, oh, I'm going 150 on a closed track, of course, under supervised. You know, because you're sitting in the center, you've got a panoramic view of everything around you. People often ask, is sitting in the middle weird? No, it feels the most natural because you can actually place the car so much easier. You know, sometimes with a car like a Viper or one of those kind of bigger cars, even the Countach, you've got those fender lifts, you're kind of doing this a little bit. Whereas this, you can see all sides pretty easily.